Hello everyone and welcome back to Southern Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. I'm considering to make a live stream on Tuesday. So keep that in your calendars. I don't know exactly the time, but I'm considering to do it. It's been a while since I've done one, and I think it would be good to catch up, bring as many questions as you'd like, and push me or be nice to me or both, ideally both. And I think we can have a lot of fun. So put that in your calendars Tuesday. I'm tentatively going to arrange a live stream. So the big beautiful bill has passed, is now been signed into law. Once again, I do understand the complaints of certain Republicans and also of Elon Musk. I agree with most of it in principle. I just realize, it's my view, that we've passed the point of no return in terms of government spending and effectively cutting spending in order to solve the issues with the debt in the system. I think, unfortunately, that was a discussion and a push that should have been done 10 years ago and not now. Now we are a little bit in a situation. Let me try to give you an example to see if I can make you guys see my point. You have to think like this. You have a car going full steam, full speed ahead into a cliff. There's no brakes in that car. There's nothing you can do to stop the car. Now you have two options. Either you put even more gas in the car and you manage to go over the cliff, but you can still fall into the cliff. But at least there's a possibility that you can go over the cliff. Or you try to brake, and then you'll find out that the brakes are not working, you stopped accelerating, and you're for sure going to fall into the cliff. Those are your two options at the moment. Why is that? Let's put some, because a lot of people say this, but then they never go into a little bit further detail of why that's the case. Very simple. What drives asset prices? We know liquidity. What is liquidity? More currency in the market chasing financial assets. What happens if you start, because the debt levels are so high, in order to be meaningful, you need to take trillions of dollars of liquidity out of the market. That means debt, which is in a sense currency that would be created, is no longer created, and you're removing the existing one off the market. What is the problem with that? If you take liquidity out of the system, asset prices come down. Asset prices are not just valuable in and of itself. They are valuable because many times they are collateral to debts. So basically, let's say you want to buy a building because you want to make a development and you want to basically rent it out to people, whatever. The bank goes, okay, I'll give you 100 million, but what kind of collateral do you have? Oh, my stock portfolio. If it falls underneath a certain level, I will sell all of it and will basically, give you the money to satisfy the debt. Now that works in limited events, but if a lot of people start doing the same, then the asset prices keep on falling, the collateral value keeps on falling, debts turn bad. What goes bankrupt? Banks. What do banks hold? People's deposits. Now remember, in this scenario, there's no insurance because the government has no money. In the scenario of Elon Musk, if we would play this out, there's no saving the deposits accounts. People are going to find out, just like they found out in other countries in the world, like in Greece, etc., back in 2008 and 2010, etc., and in Cyprus, etc., all of this, they will find out very quickly that they are what is called unsecured creditors to the bank. That means when you deposit money in the bank owes you money. You are the creditor, but you are unsecured. You have no collateral. You have no preference of repayment in case of default. That means if the bank goes bankrupt, you are paid at the end. And most of the times, you don't have money. You see, because how the banking system works is you get €1 million deposit or $1 million deposit. The bank goes to the JP Morgan, the Bank of America, the BNP Paribas, the Santander. It doesn't make any difference. They go to the central bank and say, hey guys, I have $1 million in deposit, give me 10 million. That's the fractional reserve system, 10 to 1. Now, this all works until enough people try to withdraw their cash. But what do you think that's going to happen as soon as the first bank goes bankrupt? And I'm talking the big bank. And remember, there's no bailouts this time because we cannot go further into debt. And then maybe people will say, I'm not happy with this because I'm not getting my social security payments. I'm not getting my unemployment checks. All my savings of my entire life are now gone because this bank went bankrupt. Maybe we should have the government controlling everything. There's no more private. This is the problem with capitalism. We should just go full socialism, full communism. Oh, by the way, Elon Musk, you have $270 billion or $400 billion. We'll take it all because you don't deserve to have that. Now, I know what I'm saying seems extremely ridiculous, but it was a similar condition with stock markets crashing in 1929 that was crucial for a certain party in Germany to win the elections, and then eventually we had the Second World War. What I'm trying to say is that these things are not finite. They don't end here. And people and great for him, is that when people like Peter Schiff has suggested something similar, because he's in Puerto Rico and he's a millionaire. As soon as things get really, really bad, he can take everything he has and move to Singapore or to Switzerland or to whatever. But the average person cannot. See, this is the problem, is the average person that basically got what they got in Europe during the Second World War. They couldn't flee. Now, very wealthy people fled to Argentina, Brazil, Venezuela, Cuba, the US, Asia, parts of Asia, right? Unfortunately, the people that were in Europe got stuck with the solution. This is the issue when we move into this category. We have, the reality is, and both parties can be blamed for it. You can argue that the Democrats should be blamed more because their deficits are double on average of the Republicans. There's a lot of blame to go around. You can blame Fed chairs, you can blame ECB chairs. There's a lot of people to blame. The big problem is there's too much debt in the system. If you try to repay it, you suck liquidity out, assets come down, collateral comes down, now debts turn bad, and you have two options. Either you let the bank fail and you risk having a revolution on your hands, or you print even more money than if you just had let things go. Now, what is the great hope? This is what I've mentioned before, but I will say it again. The great hope is this. We outgrow the debt. With AI, with robotics, with good tax incentives, with deregulation, we try and we outgrow the debt. We speed as much as we can over the cliff, and if we are lucky, we get to the other side. Is it nice? No. Is it guaranteed that's going to succeed? No. Do we have better alternatives? I don't think so. So that's the issue. So it's not about we should have done this and that. Yeah, we should. 10 years ago. Unfortunately, a lot of people were silent 10 years ago. And now they decided to have a voice. Which is good, but you have to understand that you're what is called the Johnny come lately. You're too late. My approach is this. Unfortunately, I have no power here. I don't control anything that these people do. So my business is this. I know what game is being played, and I position for that game. And I try to have financial independence, so then I can live wherever I want to protect me from from protecting me from stupidity as much as possible. There's always a limitation to what you can do. As long as you live in planet Earth, as long as you have to do what you can do, right? There's no point in crying around and saying how unfair it is and wave a little flag. There's very little value into it. You have to find a way to beat the system. What is the system? The system is liquidity creation, asset prices go up. And then the idea is the output grows enough that the debts mean less and less. That's the game. And what does that mean in practice? That means that as long as liquidity keeps flowing, as long as currency keeps getting created, risk assets, especially crypto, in my view, will do better than anything else. If crypto is too risky, stocks and real estate should keep on doing quite well. Real estate is more risky because you have leverage attached to it. Stocks should keep going up. Why? Stocks are priced in currency. The S&P 500 is priced in dollars, euros, whatever you want to price them in. If the pricing metric, the dollar, is losing value, then the numerator, the asset, goes up in value, not because there's a magic people meeting underneath the mountain with conspiracy theories. It's just it's simple math. Your denominator is losing value. So the division of the stocks by the denominator goes up. That's it. Boring. It's not nice. It's not exciting. This is why people like me, like Tommy Lee, we end up being correct. Roll Paul, the same thing. We end up being correct even when the fear is at its maximum, because we understand this simple dynamic. The difficult part is to understand the simple dynamic. So the dynamic is simple, but acting on it is not easy. Easy and simple are not the same things. You know, if you have two decisions to make, one is the right one is the wrong one. It can be a simple choice, but not an easy choice. I think everyone understands what I'm trying to say. So that's the scenario we are in today. And a lot of metrics have been improving. I hope it continues like that. Next week, of course, we have a big week. We have the tariff deadline comes. I think there's going to be some level of volatility. Big wallets of Bitcoin that have not moved for years have moved recently. That is leading to a lot of people thinking that those wallets are just going to sell everything on market. Or, let's go with a crazy idea, maybe they are upgrading their wallets. Have you considered that? Maybe they say, hey, I have very old wallets. Maybe are not as safe as some of the new ones. What if I upgrade my security level? It's amazing that nobody even considers this. Can they have been hacked? Yes. Can they sell 8 billion in 2 days on the market? Yes. Will it be the last time somebody sells 8 billion? No. Will it be the last time somebody gets hacked? Also no. Give it enough time and you make new all-time highs. In my view. Unless something dramatic happens, like, of course, like if Bitcoin is cracked completely, if it fails completely, if the code goes, well, yeah, then we are talking about a different thing. I'm talking about from a performance standpoint in terms of being a risk asset. Assuming that it's the same thing. If all the 500 companies of the S&P go bankrupt all at the same time, sure, then I guess the indices will fall dramatically. Like, yes, there's no doubt about it, in my view. So I think it's going to be an interesting week. I think it's going to be a volatile week. Can we have a big sell-off in the next week? Yes, we can. You just saw what happened in the past with Trump's tariffs. And the market seems to be priced a little bit aggressive. As I've told you before, this market has done nothing but go up. And I'm talking about the stock market particularly, has done nothing but go up with very few pullbacks. So if you have a pullback because tariffs are higher than people expected, then less trade deals will happen. Yes, the answer is yes, it can happen. It's a possibility. And once again, in my view, you'll give it enough time and you're back to the same place. But again, this is just my opinion. Who am I? I'm just a masked guy, random guy. On YouTube, I'm not as smart as your average guys on the Financial Times. All the economists that were predicting a massive recession, super inflation, and all of this, their track records is impeccable, right? Yeah, I don't think so, but you get my point, right? All those people are paid very hefty sums of of money to come with predictions, and apparently if they're right or wrong, it's completely irrelevant, as long as they're bombastic enough to make you click and watch and read. That's all that matters. And with that, thank you very much, guys. Don't forget, I'm planning to do that live stream on Tuesday. Further details to come. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.